everyone, I'm Catherine and I'm here today with Lisa, who is one of our clinical counselors at Thunder Bay Counseling. So we wanted to have a conversation today because it is Mental Health Week about how to open up the conversation about mental health and wellness with your loved ones and how to really start that conversation. So Lisa, really starting just at the very basics, how do we know when someone's unwell?
So we want to kind of think about how people manage, day to day, that kind of day-to-day functioning. Are you managing stress okay? Are you engaged, comfortable with others? Are you sleeping well? Are you eating well? Taking things in stride. Of course, there's going to be normal mood fluctuations, right? Sometimes we wake up on the wrong side of the bed. It happens. We feel sometimes a bit low on other days, a bit low energy. But what we're looking for is kind of a more consistent pattern over time where that functioning is starting to deteriorate. And what was manageable before for this person is no longer manageable, or starting to be less manageable. More irritability, more impatient, nervous, sad, procrastination sometimes, difficulty relaxing, difficulty with sleep, decreased social activity, things like that. And so that for some people could be a slippery slope. So that's kind of, if you think of it in terms of traffic signals, definitely when you start to see a yellow light, you're going to want to start slowing down, so that you don't end up in the intersection, right? Possibly in an accident or worse. And so we're looking for that ongoing deterioration, if you will, where there's an increase in irritability, anger, sleeplessness, hopelessness, worthlessness, aches and pains, decreased performance at work, or at school, withdrawing, socially isolating more than the coronavirus is having us do. And so thinking about things just in a way where that day-to-day functioning has really been significantly impacted.
So when you see as a loved one, you see a family member, a friend, someone close to you, you see that they're hitting sort of that point of the yellow and the red and the part where you really see the deterioration. How do you reach out to someone to start that conversation, without offending them or without feeling like you're being too nosy or anything like that?
Yeah. So people are always, worried about, being nosy. It's not my place. I don't want to make things worse. And I always want to remind people that this is about conveying to this person that you are worried, that you are coming from a place of genuine care and concern for their well-being. I think that that's a great start. Hey, I've been noticing, and dot dot dot, and I'm worried about you. I care about you. I'd like to be able to help. Could we talk? Could I offer you some resources? I'm here if you need me. I'd like to be able to help.
So when those conversations happen and someone is looking for resources, how do you as a friend, family member, help them reach possibly professional support if that's what they're needing?
Right. So thinking about offering this person help in a way that empowers them to be able to do some of the work themselves, because that's really what needs to happen. Is we can't force people to get help. We hope that they do, but we can't force it. But how do you empower somebody to do some of the work themselves? Because that's really what needs to happen. We can't do the work for them, but we can offer to help them find appropriate resources. And there's lots out there. It isn't a one size fits all approach. There's many different things that help people. And so it might just be exploring with them what they think would be best, or what worked in the past. Is that something that's available for them to be able to do now?
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic, because I know sometimes once you open up those conversations, sometimes you feel like this is now your responsibility, and it's really just you as a caring individual being able to help someone to get those supports. So that's fantastic.
It's really important to recognize what your own boundaries are when you are supporting someone, particularly if you're the sole support for that person. Um, you need to be able to really recognize what your limits are in all of this, and knowing that sometimes we don't have the capacity to be able to help a person in a way um, where we are the sole support for them. It's really important to have more than one person involved in something like this.
So if someone accepts your help and you are supporting them, helping them get help, and you're the one that has reached out, how do you make sure that you're taking care of yourself?
So I think we just go right back to, are you still sort of living in the green? Are you managing your own day-to-day functioning? It's really important to have some healthy boundaries, and I think important to communicate what those boundaries are to your person that you're helping. So there's, they're clear about what they can expect from you, and you're making sure that you're also taking care of yourself, right? Because you've got a whole bunch of stuff going on in your life too. And so we want to make sure that you're also in the green, you're managing stress, your day-to-day functioning is, that you're taking things in stride, normal mood fluctuations, just the same thing that I said before, and recognizing if you're starting to slide, right? More consistently starting to slide. Recognize your limits, make sure that you're getting adequate rest, that you're eating, food goes a long way, even little bits of it, healthy coping strategies, and making sure that you're also connected to formal and informal supports.
For sure. I really appreciate you touching on that point because I think, for people in the helping profession, but also people who are just naturally wanting to help and support their family members, it's important to remember that you need to take care of yourself as well. And so making sure that that's being done too. So, if friends or family members are reaching out to someone that they're concerned about, and that person is not interested or wanting any sort of professional support, or they don't recognize sort of maybe if they're unwell, how do you recommend that people go from there?
So I think it's really important to just understand that there's no easy answer for that. It really comes down to accepting that this person is not ready for whatever reason. They're simply not ready, and we can't make people be ready. And so um, how do you best convey to them that you do care, that you are here to support them, that you recognize that they're not ready, but that also might come with you having some other boundaries that you put in place to keep yourself well, depending on the context, right? We certainly don't want to help another person when it comes at the expense of our own mental health and well-being, or other things, right, that might be involved with that. And so you can be supportive without causing any harm to other people or to yourself. Nagging, threatening, pleading, those things don't work. They break down communication, and possibly a person might withdraw from you when you're doing that, because it's overwhelming and it's too much, and they're simply not ready for it. And so if you're really concerned about this person, the last thing you want is for them to withdraw from you, because then you really don't know what's going on. So it's really important for you to have your own boundaries. And I would say, depending on the situation, perhaps it would be beneficial for you to get some supports on your own, some formal support, but also informal supports are really, really helpful if you've got them, friends and family members that can kind of help you through that.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, thank you so much for those tips, Lisa. I really appreciate it. And we'll continue doing this throughout Mental Health Week because we know that just talking about mental health is so important. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.